Hey, Joplin High School, we are putting together a video for everybody to have some information on how some of the beginning days and first hours and the first of time are going to look here at Joplin High School. The first thing we'd like to talk about is that we, in order to do the best that we can to social distance and to keep order in the school, 8 o'clock in the morning, we'll ask that kids arrive at 8 o'clock. From that time, you can get a grab-and-go breakfast. We will have grab-and-go breakfast two different places in the high school. There will be one at the top of C2 hallway. You'll be able to see that. They'll be against the windows. The lunch ladies will be there. And then the other one will be at the doors as you walk into the lower part of the cafeteria, just outside of the Rose Garden. So once you get a grab-and-go breakfast at 8 o'clock in the morning, then it'll be just a little bit after 8, then you will begin to make your way to first hour. And once you get to first hour, you'll be able to eat your breakfast, talk to your friends a little bit, and then teachers are going to take temperatures of all kids. And once that process is finished, obviously the bells will ring, and when that final bell rings, first hour class will begin at 8:30. So, just to reiterate, grab-and-go breakfast starts at 8 o'clock. Okay, you can get the grab-and-go breakfast from two different places in the high school. Top of C2 hallway and the bottom of the cafeteria doors out by the Rose Garden that walks in by the JoJo's coffee shop. Okay, once you get your breakfast, you'll start making your way to first hour, okay? So the reason for this is, for those of you who are wondering, it's that whole idea of creating as much structure as we can around the notion of socially distancing all of the kids in school, keeping everybody safe, and thereby making it the easiest transition into this craziness that we can do. Okay, the next thing we want to talk about is our procedures for lunch. So if you'll come with me, let's go look at that. Okay, so as we begin talking about the lunchroom and the time for students to come down to lunch, we're going to have three places for lunch. The first lunch line will be through these doors right here, where you'll see the sign "Eat." If that's familiar to most of the kids that you see, as we pan around the cafeteria, this will give you your bearing as to where you are. You'll see the milk machine that's down here. So many kids will be coming down this hallway. And as you come down this hallway, you'll notice that the closer you get to the cafeteria, there will be the socially distancing tab. So all kids will socially distance once they get into this. After you're back a ways from the cafeteria, then we'll have those lines doubled, and we'll have it organized so that you can come in, get your lunch as quickly as possible, and then go out to the cafeteria. So with this first line here will be the hot entree. The choices this year will be limited to some extent, but yet they will offer three different kinds of lunch. So this first one being a hot entree and then some sides. They will not have the coolers open. They will have the drinks out. Then you can get drinks off the table, but we're eliminating anything that kids can touch that will require the greatest amount of disinfectant. So those touch areas will be eliminated. Drinks will be available. They will just be taken out of the cooler and put on tables for students to grab. So if you'll walk with me, then we know that this is the hot entree, and then we'll go over here to the other side where we'll talk about the hamburger and french fries line. So if you'll walk with me. So this line here, if you'll notice, typically this was the line where kids would exit out of the cafeteria during a normal school year. This year, this will be another entrance line, and on this side, as we talked about on the line over here, that was the hot entree side. This line here will be the hamburgers and french fries line, and then kids obviously can get a drink. You'll notice as well, this side of the line also has social distancing markers that kids will observe, and will make sure that we have social distancing as we get into the cafeteria. And so the way this will work is kids will walk in to this line, they will get their lunch, they'll come out of here. The reason this barrier is here is that once kids go into the cafeteria and get their lunch, you can walk with me, they'll get their lunch, they'll be inside the cafeteria, get their lunch, and then they will exit out of these doors here Okay, so once you come out these doors, you'll notice now we're on the other side of the barrier. And if you'll walk with me, at this point, you will then come out into the cafeteria. One thing that you might notice, these tabletops that normally sat about 6 to 8 kids are now only seating 4. And wherever you see the blue tape means that their kids are not able to sit there. Where there's not blue tape, kids can sit. And so we've limited the number of seating, but we've socially distanced those numbers, those areas as well. So then you'll come out of those doors and you're on this side of the barrier. You'll be able to use the microwave if you need to, and then you'll come out here to seat. The one thing that you'll notice when you get out into the cafeteria in the tabletops, there is blue tape on some of the seats, every other seat. That means that those seats are not available for seating. Okay, so every other seat, so we'll socially distance kids in all of the round top tables. We'll socially distance kids in these tables as well, where there's blue tape, there's no seating. This line, remember last year, was that we had kids were able to sit up here. We won't be able to this year because this is the entrance line coming into here. Once you come out of here, you'll notice that this area of the cafeteria is just like normal, and except for every other seating for here. So if you'll notice, these tables we have set up here have been socially distanced. There can only be 4 students sit at these tables. We have X's here in the blue tape to determine that kids are not able to sit in this. This was the ping pong hallway, and we've set up tables and some lunch tables, socially distanced this area, and then we'll stop just as you get inside the gymnasium. And then there's some seating available all the way around to here. And there will be some seating over by the milk container where you buy milk. And so everywhere that you see a seat, that there's a blue tape, you can't sit in, but where there's not blue tape, you can feel free to sit. So let's go downstairs and talk a little bit about the cafeteria and the seating area downstairs. A couple things we want to talk about that becomes very important. Social distancing, as we all know, is super important, and we've taken as many measures as we can to make sure that Joplin High School is going to be the safest environment that we can possibly provide. So with this, when we talk about where do you wear a mask, when you come to school and you enter the school, you will need to be wearing your mask. Okay? And so when you're eating, obviously if you're eating breakfast or you're eating lunch, you don't need to wear your mask. But once you come into the building and if you get a grab-and-go breakfast and you're on your way to class, please keep your mask on. Then once you get into class and you begin eating, at that first hour, teachers are going to take your temperature, and by the time we hit 8:30, it'll be time to go begin first hour. And once you get into class, you'll be socially distanced. You can take your mask off in class, and you don't have to wear your mask in class. Now, there will be times when you're working in small groups, or if you're working in Franklin Tech and you're hovering over, let's say you're hovering over a V8 engine and you're overhauling the carburetor. If you're in close proximity to one another, you're going to need to wear a mask. And working in small groups, like in a lab, you'll wear your mask. The other place that we ask kids to wear their mask is during passing period, because we know that what we want to do, that when you're out in the open like that, walking around, we want to keep keep everybody as safe as we can, and to eliminate the particles from getting into the air as we make our way through passing periods. So, wearing your mask into school, as you exit school, during passing period, or working in small groups. It would be very, very helpful if everybody could please abide by those rules. We can stay safe, and hopefully we will get back to a normalcy at Joplin High School where everybody can come every day. But in order to do that, we all need to do our due diligence to keep each other safe and to follow those guidelines of mask wearing and being diligent and being a good member of the Joplin High School community. So at this time, we'll go downstairs and we'll look at the cafeteria seating area down there. So I am standing at the lower level of the cafeteria at Joplin High School. There are two areas of cafeteria seating for kids. There's the lower area and there's the upper area. The upper area is where I was earlier. You'll notice downstairs I'm looking directly at JoJo's Coffee Shop. There will be times during the day, not before school, but during school sometimes, and then at lunch, that JoJo's Coffee Shop will be open. Students that will be working in JoJo's Coffee Shop, they are the marketing kids. And the reason that we are going to do this, there will be social distancing, and that is the whole idea of kids learning how to operate a business in times like this, when there's a pandemic. How do you keep things going? How do you make it safe for the customers that you're serving? So that will be a good learning experience for the kids. Also, the Fusion kids from time to time will sell snow cones, and that will be out of one of the concession stands down here. And so the area down here, the seating area itself, has been limited with the blue tape and 2 chairs to a table. And so the same thing in the coffee shop, and the same thing as you look around this whole lower area seating. And so you'll just have to find where there's a seat. And the one thing that are still down here are the booths. And when you sit in a booth, there will be blue tape in the center of the booth, meaning that only 4 kids can sit in a booth. 2 on the very far ends, and then 2 on the opposite sides of that. So again, social distancing in this lower area. And remember, I talked about there being 3 areas to pick up your lunch. The third area will be downstairs, and pizza and a salad and different drinks will be available down here. The food service people will be setting that up, and once you get here, you'll know where that area is. You'll know where you can get pizza. But the third place to get lunch is downstairs, and that's pizza. Okay? And so pizza and a drink and a salad and different things from time to time that they'll serve, and it will be down here in this area toward this way. So just remember, the seating is limited, and so keeping that whole idea of social distancing, we're going to still try to keep as much normalcy as we can in the high school experience for you guys. And hopefully with this, if we all stay safe and we all do the best job that we can, we will get back to the greatest high school in the universe, of every kid coming every day. So this area down here where we are right now is right just outside the doors where the rose garden is. So if you'll look out the doors here, you'll notice that just across, you'll see where the weight room is. You can see the gym over there. So at these doors is going to be the second door as you come into here. And in this area right here will be the second place for the grab and go breakfast. And then remember, you grab your breakfast, your mask is on, you grab your breakfast, and you start making your way to first hour. If you are, now a couple things, if you are a Franklin Tech student and you have Franklin Tech in the morning, you can park down in Franklin Tech, you can walk through Franklin Tech, get a grab and go breakfast here, you could walk down the sidewalk, come in the doors and get a grab and go breakfast, and then, or you can come through Franklin Tech, get a grab and go breakfast and go back to Franklin Tech. Okay, so remember, students that are in Franklin Tech, let's say that I'm an A-day student, then that means that I come to school on A days, and I'll go to Franklin Tech either morning or afternoon. Then on the B day, I will go to only Franklin Tech afternoon or morning. So, but that doesn't disrupt how we still do our breakfast and our lunch. So that is still available to you. So just a couple quick things that I want to go back over as we go through this and we begin this school year. We know that things are anything but normal, and we want nothing more than to get back to the normalcy that is Joplin High School. That means that all kids coming every day. We want that, but our number one concern is to keep kids safe and to keep teachers safe so that they can come every day and give our kids the education that they need. Okay? So we are asking to kids to partner with us, students to partner with us, and to do the best you can when you're asked to wear your mask during passing periods before school, after school. Please do so. That helps everybody else. It keeps you safe. It keeps everybody around you safe, okay? We truly are the greatest high school in the universe, and I know that together we can make this happen. Together we can get through this, and together we will be stronger. So, if you have questions, if you have concerns about things, please feel free to call the high school. You can get in touch with me or your grade level principal. And so, with that, I'm going to give you a peace out and say, rock on Joplin High School. We are looking forward to everybody coming on the 24th and the 25th of August. Take care.